on, you guys? It's your boy Alex West Collects here, bringing you another figure review. And today we're taking a look at the WWE Mattel Amazon exclusive Ultimate Edition Gobbledy Gooker for the first time ever, and the Undertaker from his debut at Survivor Series. Again, these are Amazon exclusives. They are actually still up for order if you guys do want to add this to your collection. And I will say that the box that this comes in is not only a work of art, but it is massive. So when you order this, you will get it shipped in this brown shipper. It actually came in a separate actual Amazon box. This was the shipper it came in. So you'll see it just says Ultimate Edition, nothing crazy on it. But look at the size of that brown box. And you will see also this figure set actually has like a little slip box here. You got the Survivor Series debut of the Gobbledy Gooker and the Undertaker here. It says, introducing two of the most unforgettable superstars in WWE history. The Mattel logo here, as well as the Ultimate Edition logo, the awesome images of each wrestler, character, whatever you want to call them. Looking through the box itself here, you'll see Ultimate Edition, Gobbledy Gooker, and the Undertaker. Flipping to the side, you guys want a better look at that. It says, first time in the line. Again, this box is huge, man. Survivor Series logo here at the top. On the back, you get more great images. Got the Gooker coming out of the egg. A little bit of the read up here. On the other side, another image of Taker and the Gooker. This is really sick, man. So I actually did grab two sets. If you guys want to see what the Ultimate boxes look like in comparison, this is just massive. I can't even fit it on screen. Let me back this camera up just a bit. You guys can see how much bigger this box is than the actual Ultimate Edition, standard carding. We will actually remove this, and in there you also do get another box. So yeah, there are three boxes. This one will house the egg here. You'll see it has the Survivor Series, all these little question marks. I guess you just open it and pop out the egg from here from the side, but if you guys want to look at what the actual box of that looks like. Additionally, when you unbox it, you get these two kind of backdrops here. So you get the Survivor Series kind of crowd entrance. On the back, I believe there's like a promo shot. I don't know exactly of what, but it was like shot with a brick wall behind it. I think it was the Undertaker. Someone explained it. I don't really remember. Honestly, this was quite a while ago. But this is the flip side you can do for your figure photography. So that is some nice bonus pieces. But looking at these actual figures in the box, you will see, I feel like, is the Undertaker box a little smaller? Or is the Gooker box smaller? No, they're about the same size. For some reason, I thought they were a little bit in a different scale. But here they are. You get the Undertaker from his debut look. You get the awesome interchangeable hands. I love that they went with the black gloves as well as the gray ones. Personally, my favorite Taker was the purple glove one, but it's cool that you get an option displayed. Obviously, the black gloves, I believe, is the more accurate gear to the attire. You do get two heads here. You get the hat, the trench coat, the tie. So a lot of great stuff that comes with Taker. Gooker comes with the interchangeable hands and the heads here. So not much. I'm curious to see what type of articulations include with this Gooker, because it's an Ultimate, right? When they first showed this many years ago, I forgot even at what event. Some people went nuts. Some people were like, do we really need this? I'll be honest. I was on the side of, do we really need this for a collection? And when they announced it, I remember seeing this going up for pre-order. I was like, oh, they're doing the Gooker. I didn't even realize they were Ultimates. Like, why are these Elites so expensive? I was like, holy shit, they're doing an Ultimate Gooker? Like, wow, what could they possibly include with it? So, don't forget the other accessory I guess you do get with the Gooker is the egg. But take a look at the box. You get kind of your standard Ultimate box for exclusive. So, generally the mainline Ultimates do have the white on the front. The store exclusives or online exclusives do have the red. So you'll have the Undertaker nameplate up here. Gobbledy Gooker on the other. Ultimate Edition logos on both. Got the nameplates here on the side. Flipping over to the side, the images of both wrestlers. If you want to look at the top, it says Gooker and Undertaker. Flipping at the back, my favorite part of the Ultimate Edition collection. You get the figure photography, the do-si-do here with Mean Gene. I really do love that. Get the image of the Gooker coming out, as well as the little read up here and some stats. Same with the Undertaker. You got your Brother Love here, which I actually did see in stores the first time recently, and still a hard pass for me on that figure. I just don't think it looks that great. But you get the awesome throwback image of Taker. Let's crack the boxes open and take a look at the little Easter eggs for each Ultimate figure. For the Gobbledy Gooker's box, on the top, it does say Gobbledy, and on the bottom, it just says Gook. For the Undertaker's box, on the top, it says Rest in Peace, And on the bottom, it says the Dead Man. All right, my friends, I can't believe this is in existence, but not only do we have the Gobbledy Gooker as an action figure, he's an Ultimate brought to us by Mattel. That's crazy to even fathom, but let's just jump right into the accessories. So you do get a set of interchangeable open hands here. You can see that it has the yellow, molded in the yellow plastic, and the black paint is painted on the inside of the glove. You'll notice that the peg is yellow. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I guess it doesn't bother me too much based on what the character is. Additionally, you get this huge egg. It was so big they had to pack it in its own separate box. Let's move the Gooker aside here. You can see a little like nests going around here. Looks really nice and detailed. This actually does break apart in 3 spots. So you take the top piece off here. Kind of an opening on the inside. You can put your Gooker in there. Have him popping out of the egg, making his big old debut. Fits really nicely. And I will say, I tried like pulling this apart. This is nice and snug in there. So be careful pulling it apart. It just kind of ports in. I don't know if you guys can see that with some pegs. But again, it is a good size. If you're going to display him with the egg, it's going to take up quite a bit of real estate. Personally, I don't know what I'm going to do with this egg. I'm not going to give up that type of real estate for the Gooker. I know some people are excited. Some other people have different opinions. I'm more so of, was this really necessary for an Ultimate? But to each their own. We have them here. You also do get an interchangeable head here. And look at the size difference. So they are 2 completely different styles. This one we'll take a look at first. If you get the Gooker to stand back up nicely, you can see the nice kind of like pattern here of the beard around his beak. Looks really nice and sculpted detail in here. Got some, I guess a little, I don't know if that's a little paint sloppage over there, but a little white mark on mine, but not too noticeable on the inside. It does have these huge eyes. They look like golf balls. Got a little red mohawk. I really do like the sculpting. A lot of nice detailing going into it here. The blue head, the white, yellow eyelids. And again, this head is a lot smaller. Actually comes on the figure. You can see the mohawk. A little different design here. The kind of like feathers around the beak are different too. Again, a lot smaller. But moving on to the figure. I will say this is a nice soft like rubber material here. You can see the same hand issue here where the peg is yellow. You can see that seeping through the black. I'm going to say that probably should have been painted black. I mean, for an Ultimate at this point, I feel like that should be a no-brainer. It's a different pattern I'm noticing on the hands. You can see how it's kind of straight versus the open hand. That's interesting. Again, I don't know what's accurate. I'm not a Gooker expert, so... but again, nice detailing on here. You can see some different painted, like orange and blue with the whites. Same on the top up here. More feathers around the neck. Take a look underneath here. You'll see he's got these skinny like chicken legs there. It's orange with these like yellow stripes. Take a look at the size of these feet, man. Got the claws on here. Looks like a regular Mattel sculpted boot. And they kind of sculpted these, I guess, turkey feet on top, if you want to call them that. Taking a look underneath. You can see he does he have the drop down hips? I don't think he does. But you'll see how kind of wide that crotch piece is, the big gap underneath for the Gooker. I'm kind of curious on articulation. Moving the arm up. See, I was playing with this off camera, and my arms pop off kind of easy. It's kind of snug. Maybe just needs to be worked a little bit. But again, same thing. Just pops right off. That's all this point. And listen, articulation-wise, I'm not expecting this guy to be like super articulated, but I mean, it is an Ultimate, so it should have most of those features. I wonder if they have the butterfly joints under here. It's kind of hard to see. Not really getting much action on it. So I'm going to say no. Don't quote me on that because, again, my arms just kind of like pop off. And again, it's not like they're falling off. It's more so I think the peg has to be worked because it is a little stiff on mine. You hear that? That's really stiff. You can port it back in. That's interesting. I don't know if I like that. That's kind of annoying. I'm going to say there is no butterfly joint. As far as the ab crunch here, you can see you get a little rotation. There is waist swivel too. So that is something. Legs go up about that much. Again, no drop down hips. You do get the double jointed knees. They are pinless. So I do like that this is starting to become more of a thing. These pinless joints, the Usos also had it on their last Ultimate figures. The arms. Do get some movement here. Some good rotation, range of motion. Again, you get the standard wrist kind of movement up and down. Same on the other arm. Works pretty good. I think pretty much this is all the articulation you'd want. As far as him doing the splits, he can go pretty wide too. Again, no toe articulation. The ankles, you can rotate it. There is no kind of rocker. Looks like it kind of just pegs in here on the side. Interesting. Let's swap the head. See how easy that is to do, how the other interchangeable head looks like on this figure. I think this is the one I'm on display. It just looks so much more ridiculous and so much larger in size. But all in all, that is your look at the Gobbledy Gooker first time ever as an action figure. And yes, we had to do it. We have the Gobbledy Gooker doing the do-si-do with Mean Gene. Next up, we are taking a look at the Undertaker, and he comes with quite a few interchangeable hands. So you do get the mic open holding hands that come on the figure. Additionally, you get these kind of like sculpted glove Undertaker hands here in the black. I really do love these. Again, they are similar to the Randy Orton posing hands, but you can see that they did sculpt the glove kind of look over it. That just looks really nice. But if you're not a fan of the black gloves, you actually do get the gray gloves too, so you can kind of interchange them for figure photography, for display. Personally, I'm going to go gray gloves. It adds a little more flavor to the figure. And again, this is exactly the same hand as the ones in the black, if you guys kind of want to get a quick comparison. They look really nice. You also do get a set of the mic open holding hands. You can see that these have the actual like glove kind of sculpting to it. It looks really nice. And the gauntlets that come with it as well. The black ones are underneath that trench coat. But removing the accessories, you can see he does kind of get his traditional Undertaker hat here. There is no actual paint on it. Again, his debut, I believe, did not have it, which is what it's based off of his Survivor Series debut. Just a plain black Taker hat that we've seen before. And this trench coat, I don't know if I'm a fan of it. We've seen this quite a few times before. Kind of feels like a tablecloth, to be honest. I know the entrance grade coat was more of a like leathery pleather kind of feel, and I know it's probably not accurate. Yes, you know, the debate between accuracy and what looks better, like sometimes it's just exhausting. Like you'll make a point and someone like, well, that wasn't accurate to the event. Like, okay, man, like, but it looks better. So I don't really care if it's super accurate. I would have preferred that. It's an ultimate figure, right? Give me the better versions of the coat. But it's not bad. It does kind of fit him pretty nicely. And it is somewhat easily removable. Getting that off the coat. Or off the figure. Again, we've seen this before. I don't really remember if it was that Target 3-pack that came with it. Or even the Legends figure. It's just hard keeping track. We've gotten so many Undertakers. This is, I believe, a new tie. Like, I don't remember seeing this kind of pattern. I feel like it's the similar design to what we've gone before, but it's kind of like a bluish kind of color to it. That looks really nice. And again, the way to remove that, pop the head off, take this tie. Again, it's got the shorter piece here. I think that was accurate to how I remember wearing it with a little short tie, but you'll know on the back it is not painted, so this is definitely the front. It is not put on the wrong way. So while we have the head back on here, I believe that's a new Taker scan. That looks really nice, kind of like sideways mouth kind of open. And then this is, I believe, the entrance grade head. We've seen this plenty of times before, so you do get two heads. I'm going to go with this one. I feel like we've seen this one several times before. It does look nice, but really liking the look of this. And he's kind of got the mullet look going really nice on both heads here. I will say the hair seems to be a lot darker than it does on this one. And if it's based on the Undertaker debut, wasn't his hair kind of like orangey? Look at the back of the box. So let's talk accuracy, right? And look how pale he was. So, again, this is another argument, right? I feel like looking at the back of the box, you use the image of an orange hair, kind of pale Undertaker. Let's get the head back in so it doesn't have that bobblehead look. And then we get this figure, and it doesn't look bad. And whether he was tan during the event or not, I would have preferred my Ultimate Taker to have that kind of ghostly white skin tone. Like I said, it goes back to it. And a lot of people like to make the argument of they like accuracy. And I get that to an extent. I'm like that too. I don't like when things are kind of mashed up together. But sometimes it makes for a better figure. And attire is one thing, right? Like if he had a pink shirt on or something and they gave you this, I could see that, right? But when you picture the early day Undertaker, like you picture white skin tone, pre all those tats, like that's what I want, especially for like an early era Undertaker in his first Ultimate. So just like the Target 3-pack, he was a little too tan. I do have that figure. We'll run into some comparisons. I feel like this one is also a little too tan. And again, this is another thing, like the gappage on these biceps, man. Like it bothers me. I don't know about you guys, but I wanted to sit a little more flush. I guess because for the longest, before we went to these double jointed elbows, it was not a problem. Now I feel like we kind of get this deal with the gappage, and it just doesn't look that nice. I'm not sitting here trying to complain, just little things I pointed out that you feel like have been an issue and they just haven't been addressed yet. But the rest of the Taker does look great. You'll see that this, I will say, here's another kind of complaint. This looks a little awkward. Looks like it was just kind of glued on the top here. And it has this kind of like gappage. I don't really like that. The shirt itself, the sleeves, I really do like that kind of ripped or ruffled look. But I don't like this kind of gap seam. I mean, luckily it doesn't, I guess it does kind of flow through to the back. You can see it there. It's okay. Noticing the elbows are a little bit of a different skin tone here with these little marks. But I guess you can't complain. But it's just that this was a $75 set, man. This was kind of pricey. So give Mattel the feedback. You can be polite about it if you don't like certain things. These guys do work hard, so I'm not knocking them. But some criticism sometimes is a good thing. It just makes for a better product. Let's swap the other head on here. And you can see how that looks. That sits a little lower. I do actually like the way this looks too. And while we're at it, screw it. Let's interchange the hands. And kind of see how these gray gloves fit. I believe this is for this hand. And we will put on the more open gestured hand. And I believe you can see on here, it does have right and left, like an R, so hope I'm doing this right on camera. Not that I think it'll really matter. But that looks so sick, man. You got him doing, you could do him his pose, or holding his hat, or coming down to the ring, looking all menacing. I really like the way that looks, to be honest. And if you guys want to see what it looks like with the other head, a little snug, sorry about that. We'll pop it back on. Wow, that is definitely the 100% how I'm going to display him. He's going to have all his entrance gear for my display. All those complaints aside, the figure does look pretty good, right? Like, that looks awesome. And before we move to comparisons, I definitely want to go through some articulation. Again, if you guys are curious to see, he does have the butterfly joint. So I guess this is why maybe it was glued, to kind of give you a little bit of that range of motion. So I guess that makes more sense. He actually does have the drop-down hips, so if you guys want to have the Undertaker doing one of his signature poses or whatnot, that is a plus as well. I did notice he does have the pin knees versus the Gooker, who had the pinless knees. But you get some good range of motion. He is on the ball joint, so that is also a plus. This looks like it's going to be a fun figure to pose around with and get some figure photography. So we're going to go through quite a few Undertaker comparisons. We've just gotten so much from Mattel throughout the years, and we'll continue to get, right? But starting us off on the left, we have that Walmart exclusive, kind of like modern day Undertaker here. You can see the head sculpt does look pretty awesome. Great likeness to Mark Calloway, the Undertaker here. On the right, we have the Boneyard Match Undertaker. We actually are getting something very similar to kind of his his Raw appearance when he kind of whispered something into Bray Wyatt's ear, but just some great figures here from Mattel. And again, the Undertaker's just had so many kind of different looks throughout his career. The longevity is unbelievable. On the left here, we have the Greatest Hits Elite Undertaker. On the right, we have the Ringside Collectibles exclusive Undertaker. Next up, we have the Legends Mean Mark Callis, kind of his earlier gimmick before he became the Undertaker here. And on the right, we have another Greatest Hits Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. And I don't know if you guys were curious to see this. I kind of was curious because it kind of looks like an earlier rendition of The Undertaker. Here is the Mean Mark Callis head on this Ultimate figure. It doesn't really look that nice. Doesn't sit the greatest. I mean, I guess it's passable, but personally, I don't really like it. I feel like the skin tones don't really match that well either. Some more Taker comparisons. So on the left, probably my favorite version of the Taker character himself is the Purple Gloves version here versus the new Ultimate. And you'll see how much Mattel has stepped up their game. If you look at the hands, they were originally just kind of the Randy Orton hands painted or molded in that color. Look how much thicker the glove mold looks, right? Just adds some nice, great attention to detail. Here's another thing. If you guys were thinking of, hey, I kind of want an Ultimate Purple Glove Taker, I'm just going to swap out the parts. Generally, back in the day, Mattel gives us like these boot covers. You guys will notice that they are plastic, kind of like pulled over a regular black boot. I don't know if you guys can see that up here. The actual Ultimate, this piece is all one molded piece. It is not plastic. It is the actual boot, you know, molded together with this kind of like gray kind of piece over it. So you can't really swap it out. Obviously, the skin tones would not have matched anyway. You can see how much paler the Legends figure is than the kind of more tan Ultimate figure. And to the right of this, we have the first released Ultimate Edition Undertaker. I did swap the head from a Showdown 2-pack here to kind of complete this look. I cannot wait to grab that Monday Night Wars Elite Taker. I'm definitely swapping that head on this Ultimate when I get it. But again, now we have two Ultimate Takers. I definitely want kind of more of a modern day Taker from his like later run in that singlet, which would look really awesome to me as an Ultimate. All right, I want to do this comparison up right for you guys. So here we have the Elite that came from that Target 3-pack with the Raw letters, right? I know some of you guys are going to say it's very similar to this Undertaker, again, the debut look, but if you're going to go with a gray gloves display, and you guys wanted to get a little bit of a comparison, you will see that the ties are different. I did actually swap out the jacket. I believe this is from a WrestleMania series Taker coat. You can see it's kind of got a nice leathery look to it versus this kind of like tablecloth here. Not the biggest fan of it. I will say this hat looks a little better. Mine came so warped out of the packaging. It just looks like an Amish hat. But we will remove the hats. You guys can get a look at the head skins. Again, the tie is very different. He has this kind of soft piece up here versus the just like long 2-piece tie. I do want to remove the jackets, and we will do a more in-depth comparison. And removing the coats, you can see some differences between the Elite and the Ultimate. Again, I kind of just wanted to give you some different kind of looks at both these figures. Again, how many gray glove Takers do you need? And I know some people are going to ask, is this one worth the upgrade if you're going to display him with the gray gloves? Again, you will see right off the bat, the skin tone is a lot darker on the Elite versus new Ultimate. So, kind of bring his arms into more of a camera shot here. You can see he's got way more of a darker tan than the Ultimate. Again, he kind of also does have the forearm tattoos. The boot covers, again, are these plastic ones that they use that just go over a plain black boot. Again, this is sculpted, so that is a plus. The shirts actually do look similar. You'll see they even have the cut or the gappage here on the Elite. But this is something I wanted to try. Again, the skin tones don't match. I'm going to point that out now. But if you were curious, you can pop the heads off. And let's see how that looks on. Well, all right, here's the problem. If you put it all the way on, he's got no neck. But I think maybe you can half it. Like kind of half. Put it on. Wow, that looks sick. That is giving me like WrestleMania arcade game vibes, man. That actually does look pretty good. The skin tone doesn't match 100%, but I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. I think that looks pretty freaking awesome, man. And he just looks so sick with that head. I wanted to throw the rest of his gear on and see how he looked kind of completed. And I feel like this looks pretty good. Again, this is the trench coat from the WrestleMania Elite Taker. I believe the hat is from the Decade of Domination figure. I don't really remember which one had the actual kind of silver or gray brim, but that looks pretty sick. And how could we not do a comparison of this Ultimate Undertaker without Paul Bearer? Again, we are getting a newer, like kind of beefed up version Elite coming up real soon from Mattel. But the original releases, we do have, I believe this is the Hall of Champions. I get that series confused so many times. Hall of Fame, Hall of Champions. But I believe that's his figure. On the right, this was a Build-It figure. I actually did grab this. I think it only had Canada. I had a buddy actually ship me out this to put it together a long time ago. But again, the ghostly kind of appearance of Paul Bearer here, that is how I wish that skin tone would have looked on this Elite Undertaker, or excuse me, Ultimate Undertaker. And before we wrap up with some final thoughts, I just want to send a huge thank you to all you guys for checking out this video review. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I was able to shed some kind of insight on these new Ultimate figures and give you kind of more of an idea of what they're all about. But while you're at it, please do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button down below. Again, if you are enjoying this video review, make sure to turn on those notification bells to stay tuned to the newest action figure reviews here on my channel. As far as these two figures go, I'm going to start off with Gooker. Because, again, I was one of the guys who said, do we really need this for our collection? I still kind of stand by that. I feel like, was this really needed as an Ultimate? Could this have been an exclusive or some, maybe a Mattel Creations exclusive? I don't know if it was really needed to be an Ultimate. I guess we're getting 3 Ultimates per wave of the mainline Elite, so I don't want to say it's like wasting a spot, but I do get why they went this route. This will probably be the only version of the Gobbledy Gooker that we will ever get, so why not go ahead and throw it in the Ultimate line? You get everything you would need, right? You get the 2 interchangeable heads. You get a set of interchangeable hands. I don't know what else you'd want more. The figure itself has some decent articulation. You even get the egg he comes with, so no complaints there. If there's one gripe, I'm going to say the arms do pop off quite easily on mine, so that is something to note. I will put him on display within my collection because I have every Ultimate figure made by Mattel. So without a doubt, he makes the cut. I did purchase 2 of these sets because I wanted 2 takers, so I probably unload my extra Gooker. And again, these are still available on Amazon, so they're going to be plentiful. As far as taker goes, there are some things I really like about this figure. It's fun. But then there are some other things I wasn't too crazy about. The skin tone, I'm glad to notice that this one, the skin tone is lighter than his last Elite with that Target 3-pack. I feel like that head swap on this Ultimate looks really good. Again, it's fun. I do like that they went the extra mile with the kind of molded glove hands on the taker pose. You get the molded kind of boot singlet over the boot, the added articulation. I actually do like the look of this tie. It is something very different. Again, I kind of wish they would have went with a different interchangeable head than what we got from like the entrance grid. I feel like we've seen that forever with Mattel. I do like this head scan. The coat I'm not a fan of. And another big gripe, I did not care for how that kind of like cut on his shirt underneath. But again, it is a fun figure. It is the Undertaker. I'm sure we're going to get tons more, even Ultimates, I want to say. He's had such a great long run of a career and so many different looks through the longevity. So again, if you're not a big fan of this, stay tuned there. I'm sure that Mattel will be pumping out quite a few more. Again, this is only available on Amazon, the only place you're going to get it. It is up there right now if you want it. It is $75. So I say go ahead and grab it. It's not the most exciting set, but I do think this taker is worth adding to your collection. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram at AlexWestCollects. I will catch you all on the next one.